Abbott and Glenn sneak in the back way of the building. Okay, listen, Glenn. We we are now in the back of the building. We need to find Joe. He's very compromised right now. I really think we should have thought about this. Does even Joe even know what he's looking for? Ah, what are we looking for? I'm sorry, Abbott. Oh no, we really don't know what we're looking for. Abbott, it's a MacGuffin. Oh, it could be anything. Uh, booger. Back to Kojak. Kojak is talking to Milo on a monitor, and it tells him what he's found out from Curly Joe. Okay, Kojak. So I see you've been interrogating Curly Joe. This is really good, because this could really end a lot of my issues here. Okay, so what have you found out? Well, sadly, the little imbecile told me absolutely nothing, and I know you know what I asked him the questions of, which is, where is Mr. Pennypacker? I've never even seen this person myself. And of course, he has no idea. Apparently, my poor Guppy Adams, police officers, apparently let him in the building because they say he was off limits, and he basically talked them into believing that he was in limits, and they didn't really actually know what the limits were, which is, how did they fall for this? Why? Why is because Crackton, Ohio is full of imbeciles. Do you not get the joke? Do you not get the joke, Mr. Baldy Pants? I mean, Mr. Kojak, don't you get the joke? I don't see any joke at all. I'm trying to be a police chief here, semi-corrupt one, but still, nonetheless, I mean, what? Don't you get it? See, the one officer said you're off limits, right? You're off limits. And then, of course, Joe says, actually, I'm still in the limits. And then that messed them all up. You get it, I don't get it. But nonetheless, they don't know anywhere about this Mr. Pennypacker. That makes me mad. It makes me mad because, there's going to be no reseller of the week and no Fortnite shows until we get this dealt with. The Abbott and Glenn Farfinger are now in the basement where a Guppy is. When he leaves, they are caught by soldiers. Oh no! Oh, stop right there! Stop right there! Kojak approaches them, and then they're taken into the facility. All right, you two, get in there. But we're not off limits here. We're still in the limits, and he's making good points there. Wait. We never discussed what the limits were. Would you stop it? Stop with the jokes. Stop with the jokes. That was last episode. Get him into my office. And then they are taken to a facility. He takes them to an office. And then Kojak questions the whereabouts of Mr. Pennypacker. That his client really wants to know where he is and will reward generously. All right, so you three are here. Of course, this Curly Joe guy doesn't know anything. So, what it is, gentlemen, I have a very illustrious client. And he's a client that wants to know the whereabouts of one Mr. Pennypacker. Oh no! Well, you know who it is, Abbott. Oh, I think we really know who this is. It's that Dark Milo. Well, I'll let you know. I didn't really tell you who it was, okay? So, but nonetheless, if you could just cough up about that, we can be on our ways here, you know. You know. Oh, listen, Kojak. We've been through a lot. I'll tell you, you know, we were never told by Mr. Pennypacker where he went to. What happened was is we distracted Dark Milo, Sir William Esquire, and Sergeant, and Mr. Pennypacker snuck off. Oh, that's a big problem. Oh, that happens a lot in TV shows and movies. That what you do is you distract the villain. The good guys, they run off. It happens every time. It's kind of like it's just the way it is, you know. Oh, listen here, you know, you two are not budging. You're not budging at all. Well, we don't plan to budge. You know, you're asking these questions, you know, we don't even know where this person is. I've never even seen this Mr. Pennypacker. Oh, Jamie, what are we going to do? And, well, I tell you what we will do. We'll just have patience. Well, Doctor Who. Okay, first off, you guys are going to stay here. You go relax and maybe enjoy the free coffee. You guys now know about the free coffee here at the precinct. Okay, so, but it's for you, Curly Joe, and it's for you, Glenn Farfinger. You're going to play some video games because I've been told on this paper here by my client this is a video game show. So, get to it. Now, more Skyrim, more fun. And, I really like this axe you got here. Well, what is that? It's an ebony axe, Joe. It's a really choppy kind of thing. Really fun stuff, you know. You know, that's the thing with Skyrim, you know. You could do a playthrough where you're about two-handed weapons or single-handed, or you're more of a sneaky kind of person. And it's we actually did a build on Oblivion that was actually done on the Xbox 360. Joe, there are projects, you know, we got Saturn Ground. We do actually have an old Xbox 360 and plan to take like a webcam and stuff. It won't be for our show. It'll be for other projects in the future where we actually play some of these video games that they don't have backwards compatibility with. You know, I know a lot of people think, well, there's backwards compatibility on the Xbox Series X, you know, and what you need to know is, yes, with the bigger popular games, but there's a ton of like runty games that came out. They're very jank, and you know, let's be honest, playing with the difficulty right now. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, you know, did we ever do survivor mode? That was something that came later. Yes, but they actually I got on Adapt, which is pretty much like, you know, sort of normal or something, you know. You can play any way you want. Like, really, here's the real truth, Joe, and Frater taught me this, is like, he says, advanced difficulty in most games, even Doom, all it does is give the enemy more health. That's it. You know, that basically when you have it on easy, the enemy health is sometimes lower than your own, and so you can take them out much quicker. As you can see here, block 100. Heavy armor is at 100. But we haven't unlocked all the options. You got this matching set here. Well, it gives a 25% bonus of a match set of heavy armor. We haven't quite got all that there, as far as that. But as far as the points, oh yes, we got it. 100 at heavy armor, 100 at block, and so there's all these options, and someone could say, well, after 15 some years, you'd think after a while, like, oh, I'm running out of options with Skyrim. What do you mean, man? There's so many ways to play it. I mean, I always thought it would be kind of funny just because there isn't really a level cap, so you can just, and of course, sometimes in games, you gotta watch that. You gotta, even with Starfield, we had to kind of look that up. We kind of went, well, there's a New Vegas, there's a level cap, because it was made by Obsidian, so they decided on a level cap, and they eventually increased it, but most, we looked it up, and Starfield does not actually have a level cap. It actually has a, but you gotta be, just saying, that, you can kind of go any way you want, I know, like, someone could say, well, did you ever fall off doing gameplay where you try to 100 everything? And it's like, well, that's a lot of time sink, and, are you taking a poop or something? I mean, you got to pause right now. Well, Joe, sometimes nature calls, You didn't have that egg salad again, then. Joe, that was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. No, I actually hadn't had that egg salad since we did the Returnal thing. That was nasty. That woke up some things in my body. And that was really kind of quite rough, and oh, cracky neck. So, okay, we're back. We took a poop. I can't remember why, sometimes it's funny when you go back and to this footage and it'll be paused or whatever. You kind of can't help to wonder back then, like, man, I bet I had to really go. I never figure out with streamers, like, some of them are just like, well, Joe, it's because it becomes a profitable business, and it's actually probably not fun anymore, because now it's a job, and now you gotta, because you gotta look at everything time-wise, time management is now involved, and you go, well, okay, well, at so-and-so time, I went to the bathroom, and I lost, like, 100 viewers, and, and so, like, I like what Dr. Disrespect said. He says that he when it comes to the viewer numbers, he never looks at that. He never looks at that, and he doesn't really even pay attention to chat. Like, sometimes, you have to, but he says that he does that, and he just focuses on his thing, and that's really the way it should be. And one of the things in Skyrim we love to do is we go by and we just grab all these flowers. It's just because if you do, like, understand, if you're not going to fast travel, then take advantage of every square inch that you run into, because, by the time you do get to the main cities and stuff, then you're so loaded up with, with ingredients to create all kinds of potions, and of course that helps you to level up more, and it's all a handshake, really, and now you mentioned Starfield, like, you like learning how to, well, as of right now, I can flat out tell you we've already gotten a couple ships, and the way you do it is to get a ship. You can try to save up, and we did actually physically buy one that was cheap, but it's a lemon. And I know you could go, well, wait, what? But hey, it does happen in real life too. You go, oh, that car is only $1,000, and oh yeah, it's got engine issues and it's got all this junk. Because some states don't even have proper lemon laws, so I don't know what's going on there. They're just running off, chasing stuff. This stuff happens all the time. So, Farkas here. That's quite a name, Far Gas. He's very far in his gas, and got all kinds of names, So, yeah, in Starfield, and it's you would say, well, is it how much is it like truly Bethesda, and it just feels like a totally different game? I would say the shooting feels more like Cyberpunk, more normal Call of Duty style, a little bit more like that, but everything else is, well, there's 4 different games I would say they took inspiration from their outside of their own. When it comes to the controls of the ship, it's more like Elite Dangerously in a way. And which is pretty brave, which does actually, I do actually debate it that Starfield in its own right, in a small way, is still a space simulator, but it's small because you still have all the loading screens and you got the fast travel, and that kind of takes up the thing. But the space combat though feels like it's not perfect, but it's pretty much like that system. And then the space. Then of course you would say, well, what's another element of space simulation? Well, it's the exploration, and you can survey planets. You can do the sort of No Man's Sky kind of stuff, But of course it's different, It's so we got people being chased here. Unfortunately, Joe, we got all confused what was going on, because if you kind of look at them all, they look like bandits. So we made some mistakes here. Unfortunately, some Vigilance of Stendar kind of got whacked by us because we weren't really sure what we were fighting. Yeah, one of them turned against us, and we can't seem to get them to stop. So we got some issues here. And we'll just whatever, or we'll just take the bounty and we'll pay it off or something. And probably at the time we were playing this, we don't play Skyrim every day, so it's not like sometimes this is late at night. People get obscured. They get. Didn't you have a mod you mentioned like a long time ago where it was like, you said it made the game darker and stuff? Oh, that was a good one, Joe. Yeah, back when I had on PC for around the first time, there was a mod where it would make the world at night truly dark, where you would have to rely on torches and lights and it made it scary. It made it scarier, like, I'm going to be honest with you, nighttime, now we're fighting a vampire. That's the good stuff right there. And we killed the vampire. We did the thing. But there was a time where where some games were actually, and we got a Vigilance Stendar chasing us because they're just jerks. They didn't understand that it was misidentification, and we thought it was just a whole bunch of bandits chasing each other. I'm sorry. So we're going to probably need to pay a bounty somewhere along the ways. So do her time, do restitution there. So so that's just it, you know. But yeah, a game that I felt really did the whole scarier at dark feel was Dragon's Dogma. And what it did was, it really made you question, well, should you really go outside at night? Like, should you stay at the city and where it's safe, you know? And because really it should be that way, because it should be increasingly harder at night. So you would say, well, why did it get scary? It's because they actually did wolves correctly. And now we got vigilant vampire hunters after us. So now you got these stupid vampire hunters. We're not really going to rack up that bounty. So we're just going to just go swimming. And we're going to see if do they really want to take this all the way by chasing us down a river? And I highly doubt they are. So so basically, with Dragon's Dogma, the wolves would kind of play games with you. They would, at first they come up to fight you, and then you swing at them, and they would kind of run, and they would do hit and run tactics. They would run away and then come back in a bigger pack, and then, it got kind of rough, and that's the way it should be, with. Let's see here. We got no bounty, Joe. We're off the hook. We're not gonna have Andy Griffith come after us, and that's great. Oh, Joe, it's great. We're off the hook. Folks at home, it was an accident. We thought it was a bunch of bandits chasing each other. It looked like that. Everyone was all the same color chasing each other, and it was like, and we didn't realize it was the vigilant Stendar chasing some vampires. We killed one of the vampires. It's just sorry to say we started swinging at people because our brains perceived bandits, and of course. Fargas, he's off and somewhere else in the world. We didn't ever see him again during this playthrough, and I don't know. I think he's supposed to be essential. So what does that mean? Is he dead, or we've had sidekicks sometimes just vanish into the void, and it's the downsides of oh jeez, oh, there was a big bear. I don't know, we were detecting some kind of thing happening around us, but then all of a sudden he came up behind us and spooked us. That's rough. We're trying to find out where Fargas is, and he's far, and probably clipped into the terrain or something. I don't know. It's a Bethesda game. Starfield is not that much better. Well, Starfield is it's Bethesda game through and through. I mean, it even like in Fallout 4, they had this sort of Mass Effect style dialogue trees, and they did away with that because they knew people didn't want it that way. They want it back to the old way of text and, text choices and stuff, and not being timed by everything. And so that was actually like an improvement, and it took it even more back to the Bethesda style. And oh dear, wolves. These wolves are pretty. Now you see everything's kind of slowed down. Is because that's what happens when you have that maximum shield maxed out like that. All leveled up with all the perks. You can do things like slow down time, and you can get out of the way. And we don't really take advantage of all the things that we have with our shield skills and stuff. So, which probably we should, but we're kind of lazy, and we just swing at things. Oh, testing ingredients is right now. You ran in some dead air. Yeah, wow. Yeah, sometimes it just happens, Usually what happens in a recording process is that you'll notice there's like an episode where literally we just rant for the whole thing and we're really on fire. And then if you'll notice like a show or two later and it's like it slows down and there's all this dead air, it's because our brain is finally like caught up, it's all that energy has been spent, and a lot of times, sometimes we'll, in a recording session, we'll do 4 episodes, and I couldn't imagine, what it was like in the old days. The old days, it was sort of like, I don't know, there's like a bunch of people arguing, and like, you see the subtitles, so there was apparently some people nearby arguing, and I don't know. I was just sort of like, whatever. I don't see them, so it's not my problem. Our show's about over. Oh, see you next time, and see what shenanigans we're up to in Skyrim. And this is Skyrim Anniversary Edition, and we decided to play this at the time because we were building ourselves up to playing Starfield at the time of the recording, and that's what you do. I'll say about Starfield that it's good, real good. You got all these planets. If you want a Bethesda game, you can have it, but if you want like a No Man's Sky style game, you can kind of still have that too, and you got outposts, and really the reality is there's enough content to last you until Elder Scrolls 6. And if you're really hardcore, there's enough there to take you to Fallout 5. Now, goodbye.